Hey everybody, Josh here. I'm going to go over some glide bait techniques, some little tackle tweaks that might be able to help you out while you're on the water. So these are some things that I've tested over the fall and the winter season, things that help you change up your presentation. Due to the last year, the fishing pressure has really increased on these lakes. It's really gone up. There's lots of boats out there. Typically, one of my favorite things to do in the fall is to go fishing. Everybody's watching football. They've forgotten about fishing. This year, I've noticed more boats than ever out there on the water. So when you got that heavy pressure out there, changing your jigging presentation up, being a little bit different from the next guy can really be the key in putting some fish in the boat or putting a lot of fish in the boat. So these are some tips and tricks that you can try to change up your jigging presentation on your glide baits, your glide minnows, your jigging wraps, and so on. So the first thing is going to be switching out your treble hook to a red treble hook. That red treble hook gives off a little bit different color, a little bit different flash in the water. What that red treble hook does is it kind of signals a gill flare for the fish. So the fish see that and they target in on it and they actually commit and come up to that bait. What I've been seeing a lot of this fall is fish will be charging up on the sonar to your jig. They'll look at it and then they'll go right back down. So something just as subtle as changing out the hook to a different color can really be the key in putting that fish in the boat. Something else that's gotten really popular over the last couple years is going to be your VMC bladed treble hook. There's other companies out there that are doing bladed treble as well, but what I found is this actually works pretty good. Early in the season when the fish are really hitting those schools of shad. So early in the fall when they're chasing those big schools, that's a great option to do. Something as the water gets a little bit colder and the season kind of progresses into that winter transition, that winter bite, is changing it out for a feathered treble hook. So what that feathered treble hook does is you jig it, you attract those fish, you get them to come in, and then as you sit there with a dead stick, that feather breathes and it kind of moves in the water. It looks like the fins on the fish kind of moving around. So it gets those shy fish to get a little more curious and come in and strike the bait. Along the lines of the painted treble hook, the Vexen Crystal Reaper, this jig comes with an epoxy coated treble hook. They've also got a little jewel there in the end that gives off a little bit more flash to give you a little more attraction to the bait. The older Rapala jigging wraps, they used to actually have a hook that was like this. You don't see it much anymore, but Vexen Crystal Reaper, that's one of the jigs and lures that's actually still doing it and putting it on most of their baits. Now, if it's something that you got a bunch of jigging wraps or some puppet minnows, something that you're not going to go out and buy more baits for, VMC makes a glow resin treble hook, and that's a great way to change up the colors and the presentation just a little bit. So going on from there, a nice little option that you can do, I found on the Walleye Nation Creation Rip and Glide. Since this is a polymer bait, it's not your metal baits, this really goes well with Spike It Dip and Glow. So you can get in there, you can dip the bait in there, get a little bit of a scent on there, but you can also change up the actual color of the lure a little bit, give you a different presentation than what the next guy's doing. What I do a lot of is I actually paint a lot of my own custom baits. Powder coating lead baits. So I got my own custom presentation. You can basically do it whatever you want. You can buy these lure blanks and paint them up, however you like them, your favorite color of flicker shads or whatever works best for you out on your lake, your body of water, because each body of water has a different hot color. That's a good way to kind of dial it into your water. But a nice thing that you can do is you can actually paint your treble hook. Your powder coat painting, you can paint that up to kind of match the gill flash on the perch color pattern here. That's just a nice little subtle tweak. I know Berkley Fusion hooks also are painted treble hooks, so if you don't want to do that, but you just want to buy some hooks from Berkley, you can certainly do that too, change up your jig and presentation a little bit more. So one other nice little tackle tweak that you can do if you find that you're fouling up a lot when you're jigging and you have to reel up constantly and unfoul your treble hook, what you can actually do is get a chunk of worm. All that is a little chunk of worm there. It keeps the bait, the hook, from fouling on your line. You can also upsize the fluorocarbon diameter, the pound test on there, to get a little bit heavier diameter leader on there. But that's also another option there, that little chunk of worm there. So these are some things you can do to change up your presentation, stay in the strike zone a little bit longer, get a different presentation from the next guy, and really look out for something different on the water that these fish haven't seen before, or they're not seeing every single day. So change it up out there, see what works for you guys, and let me know how it goes. Thanks, guys.